Good afternoon, guys. Nick at Twila Valley Motorsports. Just wanted to check in, do a little bit of an update on some things that we're doing with our Mav R. In one of the previous videos, I had mentioned that we have this car tuned from Evolution Powersports, and we're running beta for them on the Maverick R development. Really fortunate, Jim reached out, asked if we'd be willing to put this car into beta and test some of the upcoming files and try to help them get prepared for consumer launch. And we've had a great relationship with the guys at Evolution for several years, and of course was more than happy to put this machine into beta testing and start going through development. We've ran a lot of their products over the years, big turbo kits on X3s, a lot of their tuning on the X3s, and just always have had great luck with our Evo products. So we got our ECM back from Wisconsin. This is an MG1 car, so the ECM does have to come out of the vehicle. It does get shipped to Wisconsin. They do their unlock procedure there, and then it gets returned to us. And at that point, you can tune the machine with Code Shooter. Code Shooter is working on this. We have successfully tuned this machine with Code Shooter. And right now we are running a 96 octane beta file. This is the first version of it. It has a few things that are pretty cool, and Jim's done a really good job with. So the first thing that I noticed was cold start. So the Mav R, and this has been noted by a few people, it's not the easiest cold starting machine. It seems to have a little bit of a burble, starts, goes lean, shuts itself off, and when it's cold, it's kind of a pain, especially like really low outside temperatures. It'll start, die, until you kind of get it moving. So cold start has been greatly improved. I know cold start is a big tuning challenge because you don't really have the opportunity to make refinements without the machine being truly cold. And what that means is the machine actually needs to sit for some time for the cylinders to have no fuel in them and to be a true cold start. So to tune that properly, there's a lot of lead time and you really only get one shot. So Jim's got prior experience. The 2020 RRs were kind of a challenge on the cold start. So he had some prior there. Took those lessons, applied it to this. This machine starts flawlessly every time, fires right up, even on race fuel. Of course, this is mix 96 in this with 110 leaded and pump gas. So really, really cool that the cold start issue has been resolved. So good job there. The other thing is this is about a 30 to 35 wheel horsepower file on this 96 octane, and it feels really good. The car is definitely much peppier. It's much faster. In Jim's draggy times, he noted an 0.8 of a second quicker 0 to 60 on this file. That's extremely impressive, but the car is very, very smooth. It's almost deceptive because the power is so broad on the Mav R and the power is laid down so smooth. The transmission strategy on this is widely the same as stock, but we do have an increased shift point on this, 200 or 300 RPM over stock, and then an allowable 500 RPM raised rev limit for the engine. So if you wanted to carry it out even further in manual mode, it will be able to do that. So we're still testing that, trying to get the DCT dialed in. This motor, it's got really good aperture to be revved really high. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to rev this 999 to probably 10,000 RPM with no real issue. It's just a matter of keeping the DCT together behind that motor. So we'll continue to play with that. When I say we, just my feedback as a beta tester going back to Jim, of course, they're going to be doing their own internal testing. They're doing a lot of their own internal testing. These are just a few field vehicles, myself and a few others that have been selected to help, kind of refine the tune sets, give feedback, being that we have experience with Evolution products prior. So pretty cool. We also have a 110 octane file that Jim sent that we'll test on this machine and go out and get some time with it. That 110 file is going to retain the stock transmission shift points and shift strategy as well as factory rev limit, just because it does make quite a bit more power. Jim's telling me that 110 file is actually making about another 70 wheel horsepower. So it's a pretty big step. If you think about that, that's roughly 100 crank with no other changes on the Mav R other than putting 110 octane fuel in this machine. I think tuning as we develop this is going to be so cool, kind of like how diesel trucks were, through the 2006 to 2014 era, where we had shift on the fly and the transmission strategy was all electronically changed and was able to be updated with the tuning profile for the power. The Mav R can do that because it's not a CVT, it's DCT. So we can adjust those shift points and clutch pressures and all of that, electronically and refine those for the power level. And then we can flash with code shooter from our phone, going from pump gas all the way to E85, which is in development now. And I'm hearing that should be about 100 wheel horsepower gain on the Mav R. That's going to be a big game changer for this machine. Want to go into the dunes, have all the power, put it on E85, flash it with your phone. Next weekend you're going to Moab, you don't need that, I just want to run pump gas. Flash it with code shooter on your phone, back to 91, and go crawl and have that pump gas availability. So a lot of really good things on the horizon for the Mav R. Of course, this machine is still really new. This is still very much in its infancy. But the development that's already been done by the guys at Evolution is just outstanding. You know, I gotta get my hat off to those guys. They're always so good at being on the leading edge of development for any of these new products. And this has been just impressive for them to get something together this quickly on a vehicle that's this new. I mean, there's very few of these in the marketplace. And they've already been out testing several variations, already have us testing beta, and they also have other great products coming down the pipe. We have charge tubes and blow-off valves that supposedly should be here pretty soon. Jim was letting me know that the exhaust development is going really well, and those should be shipping fairly soon as well. So a lot of really cool stuff coming from our friends at Evolution Powersports for the Mav R. You know, I love more power. I mean, the Mav R makes 240 horsepower. It's the most powerful machine in the industry, but who doesn't want more? And of course, Evolution does it right, and they do it with good, reliable power. So really proud to be a part of their beta program. Want to thank those guys, and we'll keep testing this machine, put more power through it with the 110 file, and we'll keep you guys informed of what we find. Thanks.